Okay, hi there guys, welcome to part 2 of the lighting tutorial. I'm here with Shay, and he's going to be my model today. Basically, he's going to sit places, stand places, I'm going to light him and point at him and talk about him as though he's not here, which would normally be considered rude, but he'll get over it.
I'll try.
Yeah, he'll try. If he cries a bit, I'll just light him differently to show the emotion of him crying a little bit better. So yeah, we're going to look at a couple of different looks today. We're going to look at some action hero looks. He's going to pose like an action hero. We're going to do some generic stuff. Yeah, there we go. We're going to do some generic stuff like basic interview lighting, something a bit more scary and sinister and whatnot. Exactly. He knows what he's doing, this guy. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to need to light him. He's just going to be naturally like, I'm scared of him right now. He's in my flat. Help. Dial 999.
There's actually no one else here.
No. Okay, part 2 of lighting. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do some generic interview lighting. What's really important with interview lighting is you see your subject completely. It's not necessarily about artistic integrity, it's just making sure that it looks professional and looks slick. So I'm not going to do anything overly artistic with shadows, I'm not going to do anything overly artistic with highlights. I'm just going to make him look like he belongs there on the screen, and like it's not necessarily an amateur production. Okay, we've got 3 lights in use, which is what we're going to use throughout these sessions, anywhere from 1 to 3 lights. We've got the 2 Amrans here and here, and we've also got the Yongnuo 160 here, which I'm going to use to add a bit of a hair light just to separate him from the background. So I'm going to set up a shot, we're going to have a look at the lighting techniques that we can use to light an interview. Okay, so here we have Shay. He's lit with only 1 light at the moment. The light that he's lit with is the brightest light that we have, and we call the bright light either the main light or we call it the key light, and it's really the main light source, and as you can see it really illuminates this side of the face really, really well. But of course what you get is you get a lot of shadows. You can see the shadows here on the on his right side just here, and so what we want to do is just take some of those out, but we don't want the light to be as harsh. But what we also want to do is separate him from the background just a touch, which is the first thing that I'm going to do. So I'm going to go across to the hair light, which is the Yongnuo, and I'm just going to turn that on, and what you should see is that he's got a really wonderful highlight now just down the right hand side of his face. What fill light does is fills in those shadows. I'm just going to switch that on, and I've got it on about 47% because it's only needs to bring off some of those shadows. So you can see there's still that highlight to the side of the face. He's still being separated from the background, but we can see his face in full. And so if he looks over where my hand is, just as though he's doing an interview, you can see that he looks good. He looks like he's in an interview. My only thing that I would do differently is, obviously I'm in my flat and my walls are white. I would possibly put him on a kind of a darker background. I'll not light the background as well, but this looks fantastic for purpose, which is the interview. What I will say is I know that Shay's done quite a lot of film work before with student films and stuff, and he's been under the dreaded red heads. How do you like being under the LED lights?
Well, it's refreshing actually, because the redheads, the heat that comes from it is just the worst, and it sort of distracts from the performance you have to give. So I think it's actually a pleasant change.
So that is your basic 3-point interview lighting setup. You got on your if you're looking at the screen, so on your right we've got the main light or the key light. To our left we have a lower level light to fill in the shadows, and behind we have the hair light or the kicker, which they're very similar, the hair light and the kicker, but the hair light normally just focuses on the hair, but we have focused on the side of the face, which makes it more accurately a kicker light because it just adds a bit of highlight to the contour of the face or the body. Okay, so we'll move on. So now we have Shay doing the action hero thing. He's looking around, looking very mean, like, I'm Batman. Where's the trigger?
Where's the bomb?
So I'm still wondering why he did that voice.
I don't know.
Oh God. I've used the main key light, and actually it casts a really nice shadow on him and gives him a little bit of a dark Avenger look, which is quite a cool one. And this just shows you what one light on its own can do. And as he looks around, the light kind of contours around his face, and if he turns to his left, you can see that we can see his face properly, and if he turns to his right, his face is in more shadow, which gives him a more mysterious look. But we want to go that little extra mile, and we're going to add another light. We're going to add a kicker behind him. So we've turned on the kicker and we've added a really nice highlight to the other side of the face, and it just gives his face a little bit more contour, makes him look a little bit more badass and mean. So as I mentioned before, we've got the key light on our right hand side, nice and bright, illuminating half of the face and creating a large amount of shadow on the left hand side, and then we have on our left we have the kicker, just to add that halo of highlight just around the face to bring it out that little bit. Okay, so here we've got a nice horror shot which we're using just a kicker behind the main actor to separate him from the background and to give him a really sinister look. I've also, in the style of a Joss Whedon Avengers movie, added a slight angle to the shot because I think it looks cool. So there's one problem with this shot that I can see, and that's that he's holding a knife but you can't really see it. So I want the audience to notice that he's got a knife, but I'm also going to be a little bit naughty and a little bit kind of cliche, and I'm going to add a colour gel. If you remember in the last tutorial I showed you how to make colour gels just using a piece of acetate and some scissors. See the knife now shining in that light, and the red looks dangerous and scary. I think that's a really nice looking shot, and something that I would maybe use in a film, maybe with a little bit more purpose. I'd call it, I don't know, Scary Black Man with a Knife, the movie. I haven't figured out what the story will be about yet, but I'm thinking it will have something to do with a knife. So this is a nice way of doing it. Light in the back at pretty much 100%. If I look at the fill light, it is on 10%. So it's not. There's not a great deal of light coming out of it, and I've used a gel just to add a little bit of colour. Okay, so here we're going to do something a bit more Taken style. So he's on the phone and somebody's taken his daughter, so he's going to say,
I don't know what you want, and if it's money you need, I haven't got it. But you must know, over the years I've acquired a particular set of skills.
He's, of course, paraphrasing. So we've got our key light on. Yeah, we've got our key light on. I'm going to add a quick fill. So there we have a little bit of a fill light on him, and then I'm just going to add a kicker behind him. And what I would normally do is bring my exposure down as well. And there we have a really nice looking shot of a scary man on the phone. And I'm just going to add, just for fun, we're going to add some colour. So let's have a little bit of play with the colour. I'm not going to talk through this. I'm just going to add colour gels and record a bit. Add colour gels and record a bit, and we'll see what looks cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Shay. That was fantastic. And hopefully you've learned a little bit about getting decent lighting from your films. Good, excellent. And I hope to see you next time on Makin Movies, when we'll be learning something different. Thank you very much.